We need to get, supplies in place and evacuations. But just looking at these models, and for the European, as you know, it looks like Wilmington's going to get hammered, Carolina Beach. But the European model, even though it wants to bring it in near Carolina Beach, it kind of wants to drift it back offshore.
Down to the south.
Down to.
Well, and that's why the size winds up being relevant. Tom, let's do this. Stay with us. Let's go over to the wall. And let's start going through some of these factors. And I'll use both of you guys to kind of let people know why we're worried about this. And again, this idea of just worrying about the numbers itself, it's not enough. All right. So here we are last year in Irma. All right. And the difference between 145 miles an hour and 105 miles an hour, meaningless when you're standing in it, Sam, but people take the numbers as some type of direction of influence as to how bad it is.
Right. Remember, exactly that. Category, like 125, Category 4, 120, Category 3. So don't care about the categories. This is a dangerous and destructive storm. That storm did a lot of damage. This storm will do a lot of damage. As Tom mentioned, they're all completely different.
Push my hairline back half an inch there. All right, so what we're worried about, now you guys mentioned that wave, 83 feet. People will look at the data and say, well, but the face of it was only like 35, 40. We measure from the back of the wave for meteorology because that indicates the force that is pushing along with that water. That's what creates surge. What do you see in these numbers that pique your interest?
And that wave, Chris, was on the northern right side of the storm. If you took the storm and drew a pie across it, that wave height was up here. It's
so if it's coming this way.
Yeah.
It's over here.
Right. So this is the worst part of the storm, that quadrant, that right front quadrant. And just to get off what we're talking about for a second on that wave, when that moves on shore, this will move on shore like that, which means everything north of wherever the center of the storm strikes, all of that on the coastline, north and east, will get the worst part of this storm. So that's where that wave height, that 83-foot high wave was. We're not going to see waves like that along the coast, but here's what that tells us. First of all, that wave is there because the storm was moving. It was trapped in winds that are pushing it the same direction. Now, as that gets here, what we know now is there's a wall of water associated with this storm. Usually, as this storm is bigger, so is that wall of water. With the eye getting bigger, the wall of water gets bigger. And we know that wall of water is going to end up someplace as storm surge along the coast.
Right.
So transfer that 83-foot wave down to about 9 to 13-foot storm surge. We're pretty darn sure that's going to happen somewhere because there's that much wave action.
And then, Tom, one of the reasons that we're looking at this and trying to figure out what it means, numbers can be deceptive. This is the regular height in that region, Tom, if you can see this from where you are as well. This is what 6 to 13 feet winds up looking like. It takes you to the top of your house. It's over for you if you're in there, unless you're going to hide in an attic, as we've seen so many times, very low percentage.
Yeah, no, and it's a bad idea. Even if you have to get out of the water, it's better to take your chances not in the house than get in that attic. Nobody can get you out if there's no windows in that attic, if there's no way out. There's nobody who's carrying machinery to get you out of the attic in a storm like this. And here's the other thing you need to know. And Tom, a lot of these homes are built on stilts, and they think they're doing okay. But remember, their stilts are not quite a full story. So when we've got a 13-foot storm surge, that's a story and a half. So that's almost 2 stories of moving water coming at your house.
So even if you had stilts on the house, Tom, as you can see, you're still going to wind up about here. You can't exist in that.
Well, you know what always confuses me and concerns me is those that stay behind say, well, I've got supplies and I got a generator.
Right.
You lose a roof or you got 6 feet of water in your house, you're not using your generator. And the other problem is how many thousands of them have they sold, and they're first-time buyers.
Right.
And they're going to probably use them in their home. Every storm we see fatalities by people using generators.
That's a good point.
Inside.
And look, again, just let the visual tell the story for you. If you had a generator, where is it? Where is it with this kind of water?
Right. It's fine. It's had days to collect moisture in the storm. There's a lot of rain here. And prior to the last 12, not even 20 hours, the South Carolina area wasn't thinking about this much rain.